9 Albatros, and right behind it is the Yak behind. Good, it's right behind it. First one, that's the Czech designed and Czech built Soviet trainer. About 2,000 of those built, and from World War II, that's the Yak-9, jet and prop. Out of here in those 14 Tomcats, and Frank, him being in a jet, it's like being home for him.
Oh, it's absolutely home for him. Crunchy is famous for being one of the top F-14 pilots in the United States Navy.
All right, now as he goes into the back course, look high and to the right. This aircraft actually was built from a bunch of parts that were not built, that were made in World War II, but never were put into an airplane until the 1990s. Let's listen as Bill Leff also comes by. Very different sound of that engine from the one that Bill Leff has on his T6 Texan. The engine in the Yak-9 that Sean Carroll is flying is a liquid-cooled V12 engine built by Allison. It was in the P-40 Warhawks in World War II. It was in the P-38 Lightnings. And in this case, it's in the Yak-9. The original V12 in the Yak-9 was a Russian engine, but Sean Carroll has the Allison in this one. It is a V12 liquid-cooled engine. Very different sound. Let's listen again as he comes by in this amazing airplane that was built new from old parts in the 1990s. It's about 1991. That a bunch of parts from World War II were found in an old Yakovlev Design Bureau factory. That Design Bureau factory. Here comes Crunchy. Watch him as he goes up. Tell you one more thing about the Yak. Crunchy goes nuts, screaming up to 4,000 feet. Those parts were discovered in an old Russian Yakovlev aircraft factory, and there were enough parts that had never been put on an airplane. 7 Yaks, and Sean's got the fastest one ever. Completing the roundhouse, Luke, Mark, Crunchy Burgess, former Tomcat pilot, Frank.
Yes, I want to remind you, one of the missions of war aviation, of course, is to facilitate careers. Did you know that the unemployment rate for our returning veterans is over 12%? Much higher than the national average. That's why we encourage employers to hire the vet as they return back into our civilian life.
All right, with the 1.5 cubic inch, a roll and a half on the down line. That extra roll on the down line. Crunchy takes this aircraft that about 2,000 of these were built. They were used in the former Soviet Union as advanced jet trainers. And some even found their way into combat as light attack aircraft. That aircraft, the L-59. But it's got about 3,800 pounds of thrust turbofan engine in it. Not as powerful as the engines on an F-16, but still enough to get this airplane going at speeds of in excess of 500 miles per hour. You can see it climb like crazy, and Crunchy is very happy to be back in a jet, because it's like a fighter jet. Performs like a fighter jet, goes fast. Now, as he comes by, let's watch the triple aileron roll. When he reaches just left of show center, watch for the nose to come up about 10 degrees, and then he'll throw that stick over to, I believe, to the right. And is he going to do the triple? Okay, let's watch him as the nose comes up. There's that 1, 2, and 3. All right, now we've got a B1RD off to the right as well. That's no factor, but let's keep our eyes on Crunchy, who is high and to the right. Directly behind you is Sean Carroll, and they are going to demonstrate some air combat maneuvering, or ACM, or basic fighter maneuvering, BFM. And take a look. Down, below, and to the right. Here comes Crunchy, diving in from behind. Going to set up for a bit of an engagement as they come in. They will set up, I think, for the merge. Is that right, Frank?
Yeah, they're coming in for the merge, and what you're going to see is you're going to see a phenomenal demonstration of fighter maneuvers deployed for a combat operation.
All right, we're going to start this thing one more time. As Crunchy comes by, Sean's going to get turned around one more time. Now let's watch Crunchy, see how he resets this so that we get going on the merge one more time. All right, fights on, I think, is what we've got now. Rather than coming head-to-head and then turning one to another, this is a demonstration of the kind of air battle that actually never took place in World War II and has not taken place in any war since Korea, because it was a combination of propeller-driven aircraft versus jet-driven aircraft, and that happened in Korea at the dawn of the jet age with the MiG fighters, the Russian MiG fighters, and the American fighters like the F-51 Mustang, and I do mean F-51, and the F-40 Corsairs taking on those jet-powered MiGs. It is Sean Carroll maneuvering to get in behind of Mark Crunchy Burgess. Crunchy has the speed advantage, but Sean, as you can see, has a turning radius advantage. But now let's watch quickly as Crunchy climbs. It's going to be tough for Sean to keep up with him in this climb. He's going to stay low, and let's see if he can get himself in position to roll around and get at the 6 o'clock or directly behind the other aircraft. Unable to climb and do it, he's going to have to dive. Crunchy off to the high and to the right as Sean dives in. He's now, looks like we're going to have to canyon. Crunchy now behind him. Let's see if he can get turned as tight as Sean can turn as he gets guns on the Bandit. Almost. Sean quickly jinking hard and pulling to the left, but watch him as he reverses with a yo-yo, continues that turnaround, confusing Crunchy. Crunchy now has to break it off and can't get behind. And that's the termination of the dogfight. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a big round of applause for Mark Crunchy Burgess and Sean Carroll.
I'd like to remind everyone to come visit us at our ground print and meet Crunchy and Sean. We're located on the south side by the flight line. Warrior Flight Team, Warrior Aviation. Thank you all for coming, and we look forward to meeting you all. And kids, come and get an autograph from each of the pilots. They'll be happy to see you.
Thank you, Frank Mendich. Appreciate it, sir. Good to see you. Thanks to the Warrior Flight Team. Going to get a couple more passes of these airplanes. I'm going to give you a chance to listen to the 38 or 3,900 pound of thrust jet in Crunchy's L-39 Albatros, and the V-12 Allison engine of Sean Carroll's Yak-9. Interestingly, well, I'll give you a chance to listen, then I may have a couple of stories for you about this Allison engine and how things have developed over time with the name and the owner of that company. It was back in World War II that one of the frontline fighters for the Royal Air Force in Great Britain was an American-built Curtiss P-40 Warhawk. And that airplane had an Allison V12 engine in it, like the one that's in that Yak right now. When Great Britain and the Royal Air Force needed more Curtiss P-40 Warhawks, they went to North American Aviation to have them build them for them. And North American Aviation, instead of building P-40s, came up with a brand new airplane that became known as the P-51 Mustang. A great story on that, but originally that P-51 was fitted with an Allison engine. But it didn't perform well enough at high altitude, so the British took one of the engines that was in their Hawker Hurricanes and their early Spitfires, the Rolls-Royce Merlin engine, and teamed it up with that airframe, and the Mustang became arguably one of the best fighters of all time. Rolls-Royce and Allison have since merged and are now headquartered in Indianapolis, Indiana, under Rolls-Royce, and so the Allison now carries that great name of Rolls-Royce. Here comes the Warrior Flight Team. Those are speed brakes. They help the airplane fly more slowly with that Yak. Another modification on that Yak-9, because it doesn't have the original Soviet engine, it has an Allison engine in it. It also has on it a very, very different propeller than was ever on any Yak-9. It has the same kind of propeller from a Navy and Marine Corps World War II F-4U Corsair, a four-bladed prop with about 1.5 feet chopped off the tips, and makes it amazingly fast. And Sean, as Frank Mendich told you earlier, has raced the aircraft at the Reno National Air Races, which are going on right now. Watch Crunchy as he sets up for his landing. When he was flying F-14 Tomcats, he'd do that same kind of approach and then plant the airplane right on the numbers, or right on the spot of the runway where he's to, where he would work as a Tomcat pilot. But in this airplane, he flares it and touches down ever so gently right here on runway 5. Look to the left. From the Grumman Iron Works of Long Island, New York, the Grumman COD, Carrier Onboard Delivery, the C-2 Greyhound, with 2 turboprop engines, 4,600 shaft horsepower each, and it is very, very similar to another Grumman airplane that's used on board the carrier called the E-2C or E-2 Hawkeye, that has that big 24-foot radome on the top. That COD is coming in to pick up the members of the British Army parachute team, the Red Devils. And it'll be landing and will be launching next. Aircraft from the United States Navy and the FA-18 Hornet flight demonstration. There goes Crunchy. We want to thank Pratt & Whitney. Congratulations, men and women of the United States Marine Corps and the 2012 Marine Corps Aviation Centennial Celebration. Congratulations to the Marine Corps. Southern New Hampshire University is a leading provider of online education for members of the military community with more than 180 degree and certificate programs at the undergraduate and graduate level. For more information, visit their booth or go to www.snhu.edu/military. Thanks also to Coca-Cola, a proud sponsor of the MWR and celebrating our military for everything you do. Hey, we've got something coming up. On October 20th from 9 to 3, we're going to celebrate Fleet Week Hampton Roads. The Naval Station Norfolk is going to hold their second annual Fleet Week. That date, that is the 20th of October. It's a fun-filled family event, free and open to the public. There will be many Navy ships there, actually 3 of them open for public visitation. as well as a static display aircraft, kids area, live music, a car show, and new this year, a Chowder Cup Challenge. Sounds good, tastes even better. Head on out to Naval Station Norfolk on Saturday, October 20th to attend weekly events and experience the tremendous Navy assets imported that are home ported there. Here comes Crunch, he's going to come by. Give him a wave, he does. Now, I want you to look to the left. These are Todd. He's now clearing the runway, but we're going to launch a very, very special airplane. It takes you back to World War II. There's Crunchy. As he taxis by, look to the left, because we are launching a very rare World War II aircraft built by Curtiss, known as the SB2C Helldiver, the big-tailed beast. Let's look and listen. Disadvantaged at the start by having to compete with a highly capable Grumman TBS Avenger, but the Helldiver never quite won a similar place in the hearts of the U.S. Naval aviators who flew it. It took time to prove itself in action, but eventually became an effective carrier, launch, dive, and torpedo bomber for against the Japanese. But it picked up the derogatory name, the Beast, and in this case, the big-tailed beast.